What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champion's coolest campaigns and characters. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games or later on your favorite podcast service, B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're here with us live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show, but until then, Erin, B. Dave, take it away.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga, a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, featuring two of your favorite Idle Champions, Tiefling champions, Freed and Havilar. I took a week off, and now I don't remember who I am.
Who am I?
Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers.
B. Dave Walters. I say words about things. I suffered greatly during this week without Aaron.
His week never truly started.
I'm so glad you started.
It's true. I didn't even have a last week.
There was no Wednesday.
It's true. You can find me somewhere doing something almost 7 days a week. Besides this wonderful show with these wonderful people and the podcast that I do with these wonderful people. I would point you Thursdays at 4 o'clock Pacific to D&D, Twitch, and YouTube for the Black Dice Society, our horror Ravenloft game.
Yeah.
But here, today, I'm here to Gith it to you, baby.
Yeah, so we are talking about Gith, specifically the Githyanki, this week, because you might possibly be fighting those people in the game. So we thought it'd be fun to talk about it, talk about who they are. Who the heck are they? What is a Gith?
You know, at the risk of being retrograde, because you both know what I am, Aaron, you didn't get a chance to engage in our Mind Flayer extravaganza. When I got to talk Mind Flayer.
Oh no, I missed that voice.
Yeah, we talked about Mind Flayer Snuffleupagus.
We did. Don't even. Doesn't matter about where we ended up. That's not the important part. Is there anything in particular you would like to say about Mind Flayers? We covered the basics, but if there's anything you're like, I love blah.
Do not prep Mind Flayers.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. We covered the basics.
Talk about Alhoons.
Delicious, we did.
Okay.
We went through all sorts of Mind Flayer kin, many of which I didn't know, not the least of which.
Oh God!
He's
getting props.
What's happening?
I am the Mind Witness, the Mind Flayer infected beholder.
That's so cool.
I messed one of those up. Dungeon Scrawlers.
Heck yeah!
Great.
Rightly so.
Baby. Banishment.
Well, but you know what you haven't messed up yet? Juicy Boy Cyprian.
God dang it!
Okay.
Todd Kenrick posted a picture this weekend of a just close-up, high-definition image of that mini, and I just retweeted it, #NastyMan.
Yep. The Juicy Boy Cyprian. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to check for the glory of the elder brain.
The only other thing that pops in my head is
I got an elder brain.
There you go. A book that didn't happen.
Oh no!
No, so my fifth book, Ashes of the Tyrant, ties in with the Demons in the Underdark adventure. I never remember the name of it. I call it Demons in the Underdark.
Out of the Abyss.
Yeah. And in that book, I got handed Gratz. And then the next book was supposed to be one by Troy Denning with Orcus. And so there's a moment in my book where you find Orcus in the Underdark with this all these enslaved mind flayers and things around him, because that's what it was going to be. And Troy's personal schedule got shaken up and he didn't write the book, but I was always really excited to see Orcus with an army of mind flayers.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay, so Githyanki. What are they? Where they come from? What happened with them? Because they are related to the Mind Flayer story.
So they are people who come from. I don't think it's ever established what they were before.
Yeah,
they refer to their ancestors as the Forerunners that were enslaved by Mind Flayers and sort of became what they are now. But they rebelled. They've escaped the Mind Flayers, and they're like, we're never doing that again. They really hate Mind Flayers. They're very individualistic. They're like pirates on the astral sea.
No, yeah,
Bionic powers.
They are.
yeah.
And no noses.
No noses.
They don't have noses.
They're
Not really.
I mean, neither do mind flayers. So think about it. It's like, are you as
Right?
edgy as you think? You know what I mean?
What
Like,
if
you still kind of became like your dad?
What if the Forerunners did have noses?
Dun,
Dun, dun,
Maybe
dun.
just like the Kinku want back
Players
their
like,
ability to
"What is
fly.
this
The Gith
thing?"
want back their noses. Yeah.
The kids want back their noses. Oh man.
They're cool. Like they build their cities on the floating bodies of dead gods.
Mhm.
They've got kind of a
I don't know why immediately you were like, they built their city. I'm like, on rock and roll,
This city on
yeah, so one of the dead gods is rock and roll.
which that's more metal, honestly.
really
they built their
is.
city on the backs of dead gods.
That
Yeah.
is. I need that fantasy metal cover band to do it. Yeah, but they started off as just the Gith, and then they were like, "Hey, we're free. What do we do?" And then opinions happened.
It's like, I wonder to what extent because I mean, I think you guys have caught on now to the fact that a lot of pulp culture and geek culture flows back and forth in terms of inspiration, that one thing over here begets something over there, which then begets something over there. I wonder to what extent the dynamic between the Romulans and the Vulcans affected
Oh, damn.
Right?
the
It's
lore
got
of the Gith,
strong
the Githyanki and the
parallel.
Githzerai. Yeah.
You just messed me up.
You're welcome.
You just messed me up so hard.
I was so delighted. I gotta watch that happen.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, totally.
The Githzerai are like the very monastic, self-reflective. They're lawful neutral against the Githyanki's lawful evil. And the Githyanki are like warlike and very regimented.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Huh.
That one's gonna be with you at 2 a.m. tonight.
It
Kevin.
is. It is. I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the
They
night.
both have kind of pointy ears.
They do.
No noses. That's the one thing that unites them. Noses are garbage.
But yeah, they split. So those two groups, they split up because there's the Githyanki and the Githzerai. And this part I wasn't clear. Did the Githzerai? Are they also in the astral plane?
The Gith. Oh, go ahead. No, you know what? I talked all last episode, so
Like,
I'm
I'm
happy.
done.
Yeah, no.
I know they have outposts that are not in the astral sea. This puts them in limbo.
Oh yeah, no, I think I remember reading something about limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're mostly in limbo, but then they have outposts elsewhere, including in the prime material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Githyanki, they're in the astral. It's the astral sea. That's and they don't age.
I would like to point out, just before we go too terribly far, that Gith was an individual. Gith was one of the leaders of the rebellion, and then once they were free, they named themselves after that, which is interesting to me. That it makes me wonder if one, they never had a race name before that. The mind flayers just like slaves, or the mind flayers called them something that they just rejected. But yeah, that's they do have a progenitor, which is funny because Gith was only one of the people in the rebellion. So imagine how the other rebellion people sound. Like, if you're like, we're the race of the Skywalkers now, and Han Solo's like, what? Huh? Vader had
Maybe
him.
that's the
Okay.
genesis. I actually don't remember what the genesis of the split between the Githyanki and the Githzerai. It's sort of framed like it's a philosophical thing.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if there's a specific, but maybe that's it. Maybe people were just like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. It was your fandom, basically, is what they
Oh no.
original Trek and Next Generation.
Oh,
They were like,
no.
then the twain shall never meet. We will go into the astral abyss to avoid having to interact with you anymore.
I don't want to ever see your face again.
Also considering that, most of this was, Spelljammer, confirmed. Not that I said that out loud.
It's confirmed that it's in Spelljammer.
Yeah, it's confirmed it's in Spelljammer. Yeah.
That is true. No, even as I'm talking myself through it, when this all came out, this Romulan Vulcan parallel is probably
really
not a coincidence.
Yeah, you're really nailing it there.
Yeah. Because it is framed like a philosophical debate that's kind of always been like this, which is funny because there both is and isn't a distinct prehistory. You know, like in the sense that it's like, well, there was a rebellion. Gith was a person. We fought the Mind Flayers. We continue to fight the Mind Flayers. Also, we're kind of like this now, and action.
Yep.
Which again, as Trevor pointed out, in Idle Champions right now, you can fight with Giths and Mind Flayers.
Yeah. Because the jerks.
They are both jerks.
They are both jerks.
They're both jerks. You're like, wait a minute, whose side am I on? I mean, theoretically, I would back the pirate jerks over the interplanar slaver jerks.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I like, they're both jerks, but one of them is best friends with red dragons and flies through different dimensions and goes into space with them, and they have pirate ships, and they're in the... It's so cool, but they're jerks.
The other one doesn't want you to make any of your own decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. To go back to the thing, they don't age, because like that's a feature of the astral sea, right? So this is actually a problem for reproduction, because they lay eggs, but if they lay their eggs in the astral sea, nothing happens because they don't mature. So they have to go to the prime material and lay their eggs in the prime material. So children Gith grow up there and then are brought back to the astral sea.
And also, like, they straight up are just like, all right, I've laid the eggs, they've hatched, they're little Gith. All right, bye. Next watch is coming in on Tuesday.
They're like little baby turtles.
Yeah, no, like they just take like different Githyanki come out and take care of the kids until they're grown enough to. I think they have to kill a Mind Flayer, and then they can come back.
All the Dragonborn are like, that sounds right.
Yeah, we should try that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like the Dragonborn are like, we did it first, but
yeah, it's true.
I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure the Githyanki have been persisting for ages and
There's
ages.
there's a quote about the Githyanki from Mordenkainen, which I like, is what would become of the multiverse if Githyanki didn't guard the astral plane from the Illithid menace? What would reality become if beings of thought ruled the plane of thought? Which that is wild.
Like strong devil energy there. Like, we're just protecting you from the demons. Do you really want us to go away?
Yeah.
Like, yes, we're murderous pirate scions. Like, but if we go away, all the Mind Flayers get through.
Yeah.
You know, but you know that it is literally the devil, you know. And if you think about it, I mean, are they doing anything so different than any other pirate? They're just doing it in space.
Right? They're just doing it extra cool.
That's true. That is very metal.
Noses.
With no noses. Maybe that's you know, that's been our weak point this entire time, was noses. Yeah. You think about the coolest things. None of them have noses. Does the Terminator have a nose? No. Predator have a nose? No. Xenomorphs noses? No. Think about it. Maybe noses have been holding us back this entire time.
Or maybe it was the noses we made along the way.
That's more of a flesh sculptor thing, but that's true.
But yeah, no, I really do like the Githyanki just because they're kind of like high concept sort of stuff. Like you start off with D&D where it's like, you are an adventurer and you go fight dragons and get the gold, and they're like, these aliens are in the mind.
They do everything with their brains.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole cast of people that like build things with psionic power.
Yeah. But the Githyanki, they have a new leader that is not Gith. And it's probably the one I'm most confused about the circumstances as to how this happened. Their leader is a lich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gith, the 157.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna be immortal, be immortal.
Right? I mean, and I can kind of see that mindset of like, listen, like, I'm just gonna stay and keep ruling you instead of passing this on to my daughter, because obviously I'm doing a great job. There's this sort of perversion of this like super individualistic society. It's like, well, okay, I'm the lady for the job. I got the job for eternity.
Yeah,
I win.
I mean, is that not what the gods are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Was the Vlaakith a Githyanki before?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I did. That was the part that I got confused about. I thought it was just some human lich that rolled up in there. Was like, listen.
Yeah.
Like
Like, you guys are jerks. I'm a jerk.
Let's be jerks together.
Let's be
space.
in space. Yeah.
Jerks in space.
Yeah, my jerks in space. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, the first ruler of the Githyanki after Gith is like his advisor, I think, Glakith the first. And so then we get down to I'm gonna be honest, I'm only okay at Roman numerals. I'm pretty sure she's Glakith the 157th, which is when it all stops because she makes herself a lich. And she's like, no, we're good now.
I mean, but if you think about it, okay, all right, this is the part in the conversation where you know that I always reject race-based morality. Any correlation between race and morality is problematic.
Yep.
However, we've established Gith are jerks.
Yep.
So theoretically, when you're like, I'm an infinite evil thing, and they're like, we were already infinite evil things, so yeah, sure, great. Yeah.
This is actually a good point. I guess there's the I have a little puzzled. If they don't age in the astral sea, presumably they're dying by violence. And I guess like if you're a lich and you have a phylactery that you die by violence, you still come back. So maybe that's the protection. But I'm kind of like
I feel like especially they're very arrogant. So I think she didn't do it for immortality. She did it for power.
Yeah.
Personally.
That's
what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Yeah, she's like, I'm already not going to get killed because I'm incredible. Now also I have unlimited power.
Also, like, really, like, that indicates the length of time the Githyanki have been around. If they're on their 157th ruler, who has been ruling for a while now, and they don't age.
Yeah. Yeah, 100. You're 157th immortal. That's a minute.
It's like how violent is their existence, but also how long have they been doing this? Like the combo of those factors is very evident in my 157th immortal ruler.
I just imagine like some poor elder brain somewhere that is just like it's like George Costanza hair on the elder brain, you know, and it's like always with the Gith, the Gith, the tentacles splashing around. Yeah, I mean, again, I feel bad for the mind flayers. They're like, all we want to do is crush every plane of existence. Why is that? Well, what's the problem?
I got to point this out because, you know, normally I save the stuff in chat for later. But there's been a big thing since B-Dave did they're jerks, we're jerks, let's be jerks. And my favorite one now is putting it into the Good Burger theme of I'm a jerk, he's a jerk, she's a jerk. And it nearly killed me.
It's, you know,
Dark Cyril did that. We'll play it.
Bottle some of that for Bardic Inspiration, Dark Cyril.
Yes.
But here's the question, because this usually comes up with most slave populations when some of them get free, some of them don't. Do the Mind Flayers still have any of them like under their thrall?
I haven't seen that, but that's a good question.
Especially because, I mean, again, in a mortal warrior, servant population would be optimal.
Well, I mean, that's only if they keep them in the astral sea, though, because I do think they have an age expectancy.
Like 120 years on the prime material. Yeah,
that's still a bit.
It is.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I theoretically would say yes, because I feel like if they're going out of their way to continue fighting the Mind Flayers are going out of their way to continue catching them.
Yeah,
that is true.
So even if they're just trying to find their egg clutches and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would submit they must still have some of them. You know.
I actually. Oh, go ahead.
No, please. What were you gonna say?
What I was gonna say is I didn't know the whole, like, I knew about Githyanki and everything like that, but I didn't know the Mind Flayer stuff and the hatred for them until I played Baldur's Gate 3, and one of the main characters is Githyanki, and she's just like, you don't understand. I will kill you to get to this Mind Flayer. Get out of my way.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Which is not much of an incentive for the Mind Flayer to fight fair.
That's true.
Just saying.
But I mentioned earlier about they're best friends with red dragons. How did that happen?
I mean, it's how Erin and I are. Here's the question though: which of us is the Gith and which of us is the red dragon?
Oh my God! Vote in chat.
I was about to say, talk amongst yourselves, chat.
they have a like a treaty, like a pact with Tiamat.
Yep. Which is badass.
Right?
The Gith are the most metal race. I mean, they
kind
just
of are.
Like, I mean, just objectively just are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Dragonland's gonna do a song about them next week.
If they haven't already.
Right?
Please call it Gith It To Me, Baby. Although Never Gonna Gith You Up is valid.
Yeah.
Maybe one's the name of the album and the other's the lead singer.
There we go. There we
Yeah.
go. Perfect.
Right.
We figured
Oh,
it out.
I don't know which one I want more.
Dragon or Gith?
No.
Right.
That
Oh,
one
right.
too. I'll be honest. I don't know.
I feel like because of the lipstick, you get the dragon.
That was what I was gonna say. Like that might be the tipping point. But
And your laugh
would
can
not be
be,
mad.
I could construe your laugh as like a sonic breath weapon. Like it's a stun effect. I'm like, she got me with it again.
oh my god, I love it.
Oh
And
man.
Gith can be like 6'11", so that's true.
Right.
That's there it is. And I mean I can be a space jerk. So,
Now I'm like, okay, we need to figure out what other things make Githyanki like be Dave.
I'd like to believe I'd be more Gith Zerai, but you know,
Okay,
whatever.
Githzerai. That's true.
Yeah,
I do feel like that's a better fit.
like a reformed space jerk.
I feel like Githzerai, it's not so much a jerk as like, oh, I'm trying to think of the right word. Like a snob. A space
Yeah.
snob.
I mean,
I was
Space
that's what I
snob.
expect.
yeah.
Like,
Wait,
I don't know. They just sort of seem like, no, we figured it out and we're figuring it out. And you guys, listen, don't break your brains trying to figure it out.
yeah, yeah. Good luck being, space pirates. We're just gonna chill over here and
Not
relax.
everybody can unlock the secrets of the mind.
Okay,
You can just go, I'm hungry. Now I'm not hungry. That's okay. That's valid.
again. Here's what we can all agree on: no noses.
No
Yeah.
noses.
Yeah. Although, does that then make you Treavor the space pirate jerk?
I'll be a space pirate jerk, man.
Yeah.
So I opened up the Mordecaiden's book on D&D Beyond. I did forget one of the other just completely metal parts of this is that Vlaakith sits on a throne of Mind Flayer skulls. And it's so freaking badass. Like legitimately, chat listeners too. If you haven't looked through Mordecaiden's book at the Githyanki artwork, it's so freaking good. I love it. It's badass. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about was their swords.
Yeah. There's still the Githyanki silver swords.
Yeah.
I feel like we only very skim the red dragon thing.
Oh, I'm
You just
sorry.
Pack with Tiamat and
See,
this
is why
evil
you-
in space, and this seems
That's why I
legit.
shouldn't do it, because I got ADHD. I'm gonna just jump all over the place. You do it. You got it.
I feel like that's a feature, not a bug here. I just think we'll make sure that we covered that completely. But I mean, again, it makes sense that you have a long-lived hostile race that theoretically I feel like their cultural desires and things kind of fit with the Red Dragon ethos.
Mm.
Especially having determined last week that there are Mind Flayer dragons, so dragons have a vested interest in
true.
not wanting them around too. And I also think most red dragons, especially the older ones, fancy themselves sort of a form of a god anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so they probably, when the Mind Flayers are like, we rule all the reality, it's like,
It's like, try again.
yeah. Yeah. So
That's
makes sense. Yeah. And also,
Scrawlers. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, please.
No, I was changing topic.
I was just gonna say I just like the visual of a red dragon like screaming out of the clouds with this Gith on its back, just like yeah.
I think I mentioned in a previous one, we have a Githyanki NPC that shows up in our Dungeon Scrawlers game, Scaresair, who is a Kithrak. I remembered the term. So she basically like captains a fleet of Corsairs. Except that we crashed her ship into an astral dreadnought, and she and her red dragon got eaten by the astral dreadnought, and then we revivified her, so she's kind of trapped she's like she's missing some legs and arms and things. And the red dragon died. But the thing I liked about them is that they were bonded, but they hated each other. So we left them to have a moment because the dragon was clearly not going to make it. And she came back with the red dragon's skin and was like, here, this is yours. So we made armor out of it. And she's like, that's a good choice. And we're like, is that because you hated the dragon or because this is honoring the dragon? I'm so
Yes.
it's like both.
Mm-hmm.
Good God.
Recycle, reduce, reuse. There's no love in there. Yep.
Well, and the other thing about the red dragons is they don't stick around through their whole lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically,
well, if they get eaten by an astral dreadnought, they do. But
that's fair. You know what? You're right.
I mean, is that not true of all of us? No, right. That it's like, you know, that we all live until we crash into an astral dreadnought and then don't anymore.
Yeah.
No, then we live in the pocket dimension in that astral dreadnought's stomach. Which
yeah,
is a
like
whole weird thing.
Big old claw boys, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I liked reading the part in Mordecaians where it was just like, yeah, they hang out until they're like an adult dragon, and then they're set free or whatever. But because they don't age in the astral plane, essentially every red dragon is just like, can I go fight, please?
And like,
shh, later.
Yeah,
you're sweet.
I mean, but props to the Gith society that they're not hypocrites, though. You know, like they don't enslave these dragons.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, you know, like a very rough boarding school.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the exchange student.
Mm-hmm. You don't even go here. Yeah. That's the story I want now about just like a white dragon hatchling stuck with the Gith and like nobody respects it, you know?
Oh.
It's like reverse How to Train Your Dragon. It's just like
How to Train Your Gith.
Exactly. Yeah. Just cultivate a sense of lasting, lingering hatred in the heart of this creature. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got a little poster at Tiamat with the hearts around the white head, you know? You're like, the mother of dragons thinks I'm cool.
Why don't you think I'm cool?
You know, they're all fighting, and he ice breath, and like everybody stops and looks at it, and like.
Yeah. The Githyanki that gets bonded with it is like, okay, I'm gonna take a boat.
Mm-hmm. Like, no, I get. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Headcanon magnified. It's okay. Now
There's your hook.
Their swords. You're mentioning their swords. Which
yes.
My God.
The silver swords, you know, they look cool. They like fit the stack of the Githyanki, and you're just like, all right, cool, they got a sword. But apparently, if your astral form gets attacked by this in the astral plane and they roll a crit, you are dead. You are just dead. It severs the string between your physical form and your astral form, and you just out.
Yeah, that cutting of the silver cord was a very big deal in previous editions of D&D. It's like a deal currently, but it's sort of like, you can be all right. Just go ahead and astral protect and come back. But in previous ones, it's like,
go see the space nurse.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Don't let nurse in space. I think I seen that video. But yeah, back in the old, it was just like, just don't move the body, don't sever the silver cord, or you'll be lost forever. You know. Mm-hmm. But now it's they got soul stabbing knives, basically.
Soul stabbing knives.
Speaking of the swords, I found a thing on the wiki that I hadn't heard of before that is also kind of metal. They have these this class of people called the Tla'kiths. That are the invisible undead spirits of knights who could only interact with their environment through combat, and they still have access to their swords and all of their abilities, but they can't speak and they can't do anything. And the other Githyanki just kind of ignore them. But still, there are these ghosts that can show up, and the only way they can make their presence known is trying to chop your silver cord.
So So let's
terrifying.
let's work this
that
backwards.
Ghosts that speak violence. Yeah. Mhm.
Let's work backwards a little bit. So we right now we've got this headcanon that essentially the conversation was, hey, let's do Romulans and the Vulcan, but like in D&D, and they're like, yeah, but
legally distinct.
legally
Romulans and
distinct.
Vulcans.
That's real cool. But like I also just read this really cool scene in The Return of the King. What if we threw a little bit of that in there too?
Yeah.
I want Ikith to go make friends with that white dragon, and then they're just gonna mess everybody up.
I really love this idea, that white dragon that's with them. I kind of really love it.
Or maybe they talk and they bond and they deal with their angry feelings.
It's true. They're like, nobody
Or-
likes me either.
Or both.
Porque no los dos.
You could totally do like a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song about it. It's like, they won't let me go on the Githyanki raids.
Exactly. You know, and then they come up against an enemy that is 100% fire
Fire
resistant
resistant.
and immune to slashing damage. And they're like,
Yes.
oh no. And then
What
it's
do I
like,
do?
cold damage. And they're like, our one weakness in the void of space inexplicably was cold. You know? Can dragons even exist in the void of space?
Yes.
They breathe, literally. I mean, not just breathe fire, but can they live in space?
If we're
But I
still
think the
going by,
astral sea is also not space exactly.
Well, but they come out into space
They
though.
do. That's
Yeah.
fair.
if
go
we're
jam
going
in
with
space.
old Spelljammer method of space, you can straight up breathe in space if you're still within like the crystal spheres and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why there's like whales and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, this is the part where I point out, one, Spelljammer made no sense. Two,
And it was awesome.
Google Spelljammer vessels if you haven't. Like, there's some weird things, up to and including just isn't one of them like a chariot pulled by two dragons?
Yup.
Yeah. Which again is self-validating. Don't get me wrong, but you're like, I'm in space on a chariot. Okay.
I can't remember the YouTube video, but I remember just zoning out and watching one time. It's like, we're gonna talk about crystal spheres and 10th level spells, and I went, what? And it was really cool.
Space goblins.
Space goblins.
There are. Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
Go to Sigil and have your mind blown. Yep.
So we also touched kind of briefly about where they live. And like, again, they live in the body of a dead god. Like, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
That's to Tunorath.
Tunorath. Do we know like anything
Tunorath.
about
What
that
is their
god?
capital?
The one in the void. Yep.
I think
What is it,
based
a
on that
Friends
name,
episode?
We do not.
Yep. It's a long dead 6-armed deity.
Right.
They're not religious. They don't care about it. They settled there for convenience, which is even more metal. Like, I feel like the Dragonborn and the Gith would either, one, really get along, or two, really not get
Right.
along. Like there's a
lots of parallels, and then
yeah.
there's some big cross points of tension
well, it's like
that
a
amplify it because of the parallels. Like,
It's
you
like a-
almost got it. You almost got it, guys.
yeah, right. Therefore, you should be destroyed. Yeah, it's like in a Flashpoint paradox when Themyscira went to war with Atlantis. That should be your next book here, and the war between the Gith and the Dragonborn. Because hey, look, we can't all have like warrior egg clutch culture on the prime material plate. Okay, somebody's got to
There's
go.
only room for one.
And they're dragon collaborators.
Ooh. Oh. I really wonder if this forces Dragonborn to collaborate with good dragons.
As long as they stop first, yeah. Imagine that, they're all like, it's just like this gold dragon and the
Or-
Dragonborn are just like looking at each other like,
All right.
I would
Yeah.
say they collaborate with the Mind Flayers, but I don't think that's happening. I
No.
don't think anybody collaborates with Mind Flayers.
I mean, or everyone collaborates with
Right? And then at that
Dragonborn.
point, like, what's a collaboration exactly? Where do we draw the line?
I mean, I could very much see that being a thing where like a mind flayer comes rolling in, like a mind flayer diplomat that is just like, I want what's best for you, and I'm gonna help you win some fights. Also, look at them. Aren't they terrible? Go, let's go. Come on, let's go. You know?
Look at them for a few more minutes. Don't mind me coming up behind you.
Then they don't
I'm just making sure your face is.
Yep. Yeah. And then they don't find out till it's too late. You know, that's the mind flayers were manipulating the Dragonborn to eradicate the Gith. That's a plot. There you go, kid.
Now,
There you go.
now it's a trilogy. I mean,
Yeah.
now you're getting me a trilogy here.
Yeah, you want to know where stories come from? There it was. That's what just happened.
I do like that. Oh, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
I was gonna say I do like how currently on Champions of Lore we've talked more about writing about dragons and shit than our show writing about dragons and shit.
It's fair.
It's a brand.
Yeah.
We weave multi-layered things. You know?
It's like a Marvel event. You gotta read all of the issues to get the full story.
I'm just saying, War with the Gith and the Dragonborn would be pretty darn compelling. I think.
Pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the city. The city, like, at first when I was thinking about it, like, you know, because I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot, like, I have that image of nowhere where it's, like, inside the skull and they're all floating around and everything. But, like, it's straight up like this. Oh my God, I can't believe what I'm thinking of. It's like the episode of Futurama with Bender when he was in space.
Yep.
And he got hit with the thing, and they just started building on him. Like, that's what it is. It's this giant skeleton with 6 arms, and they built cities, like, along it, on top of it. And so, like, there's, like, Gothic cathedrals on top of this dead skeleton with this skull hanging there with these chains coming off and a floating castle. That is so freaking cool.
That's the album cover.
That is.
Give it to me, baby.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? When the city is 96% Githyanki, but 4% other. Like, imagine when you're the other. You know what I mean? like again, you're the one gnome. There's something there that it's just like you're Quark. You run a bar on Tunara.
I want to write the short story.
I was gonna say, there's the short story.
Yeah.
Or even like that's
Literally
even
a short story.
I
potentially
knew
an
you were doing
anthology.
it. I knew you were doing that. But no, just imagine like that gnome just like chilling out the tavern. They're like, all right, yeah, no, it'll be this much for your beer. Yeah, I know you hate mind flayers. I got it. All right, here's your beer.
You hate me too. I get it.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
all
it.
good. It's all good. Don't age either. It's all good.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I wonder, like, to survive in the midst of a warrior culture like this. Because don't get me wrong, there's you know who the Gith really are. I said that they were influenced by the Romulans, but if you remember, there was that one group in Deep Space Nine of the Klingon Romulan hybrids that both of them hated equally. You know, here's one thing we can agree on: that should not be a thing. Yeah, but to dwell among them, I wonder if you have to be a bigger badass or no threat whatsoever. Like, if you literally just have to be like this adorable little like halfling grandma. You know,
Penelope in the Gith City.
Yeah,
no, that's 100. That's 100% what it be. Like they just come back with Penelope, and they're just like, "This one was too nice for us not to kill. She pointed us in the direction of every mind flayer in Faerun."
It's true. Now my mind went to when SpongeBob got his butt kicked by the bully, but he just hit him and like that's what it is. They try to get rid of Penelope and can't, and then it's just like, well, she lives here now.
This is my question too. Like, what is like not what does it take to persist, but why would you do that? Like, for what person is this city the correct place to be? Right? Like
jerks who hate mind flayers and and want to live forever.
Right? Like, is it that? Is it just like, oh, I won't die? If you're alone, if you're that alone, like. What is the impetus there? That's fascinating.
I could see a way where a person would frame this almost like a real Valhalla. Like we spend all day fighting and all night, cavorting for all time, like.
Well, it actually could be something like that. Like imagine if the Githyanki got helped by someone and they like, especially in a mind flayer fight, and they're like, dude, you kicked ass, you saved us, you killed the mind flayers, you did like everything that we respect, and they're like, do you want to come and live forever on our dead god?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if that door opened right now, some Gith raiders were like, hey, so check this out, I'm like, yes, let's go. 100%. Sign me up.
You'd be like, does Zoom still work there? I'm good.
Exactly. Yeah, might have some challenges taking my first mind flayer. I feel like the first one's prickly, but besides, then after that, it just gets easier. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Any last thoughts on Githyanki before we hand it over to chat? There was one thing, but I feel like it's a little too spoilery that if any plot for any players gets done there, I don't want to ruin it. So I will warn you about that of reading that section of Mordekainen. There's one big plot line that could be turned into a campaign that I'm like, don't spoil that.
Yep. It's they're a neat race. I'm glad to see them getting some play again.
What about you, Erin? Any last thoughts on Githyanki?
I'm just checking if there's anything that I missed.
I will just say this one other thing. The 3.5 art style really worked well for the Gith.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, just in general, yeah.
I've been looking at the Mordekainen thing. I haven't actually looked at the 3.5.
Well, while Erin says what she says, I'm dropping an image in our chat. Look at that. Okay. This is of a Githyanki returning with a lithid head.
We've been talking about a little bit about how they have it's a caste system. So there's like you are a warrior or you are a builder, and one of the other ones is sort of the like agricultural, because nothing grows in the astral sea, so they use their psionic powers to grow make fungus grow. Which I think is kind of cool because I like this aspect of like you're living in this place that's not meant for the living, and so all of the things that you might do or might need to do, like using these psionic powers as the conduit. Because I really love practical magic. It drives me crazy when it's like, oh, we can cast all these massive spells, but we can't figure out refrigeration. It's like, okay, but you like do the things to keep people alive first. That's how it works. But so this is kind of what they did. Like we have all these psionic abilities. Okay, everybody's going to get a job and we're going to figure out how to do this. So they have used that for both like splashy fight reasons, because that is something you have to do when you live in the astral sea and you're constantly being attacked by mind flayers, etc. But also for the less splashy practical things that make this feel a little more like fleshed out and cool to me. It's less metal to, well, I don't know. I still think growing mushrooms with your mind is a little metal.
I mean, you're like, use your magic to make people live first and foremost. I'm like, no, use your magic to make people die first and foremost.
Well, stop dying, right? Like, I don't know. We can just disagree about that. Or we can disagree about it loudly another time.
Well, I get it though. As you track the advent of civilization, that, technology was developed for warfare and hunting. And then it was like, wait a second, we can kind of stay in one place and the ground will give us food. And like, really? So I think that kind of would be the trajectory, that you reach a point where you're like, now we're self-sustaining and out of this specialization can arise. So I feel like any culture that has specialization must have the core of civilization intact, because otherwise,
I do love that.
I had a lot of bad experiences in Sharn. Yeah,
I do love the idea though, that because now that you say it like that, where it's like, oh, we're warring, we're moving around and everything. Oh, we found a place. Let's settle here. Let's make food. Let's do all this stuff. The Githyanki are so metal that they were like, hey, we found this place that we can live. We can make food. We can live forever. But let's still go kill those assholes.
Just because we're gonna live forever doesn't mean they should.
Yeah. That's badass. It's badass.
Yeah. Nice. Also, and that is, as we've established, a lot of time has passed, and there are 157 infinite leaders in there, or immortal leaders, and they're still plenty sore at the mind flayer.
Yeah.
They have long memories.
Yeah.
Like crows.
It's true. Metal crows.
Before before I hand it over to chat, I gotta read Jay's first message to me after the show went live, which was, I just noticed the episode title and I feel betrayed. How dare you rickroll me? Star Chaser 43 says, I wonder if the Treavor has a sound file for Erin's laugh yet. No, even if Erin's not here, it's got to be done live. Like we can't fake this. Come on,
you can't bottle it.
Yeah,
Yep, we need the real thing.
Don't try that. Cassius335 says, please tell me D&D Santa Claus is Gith, just so that there exists a Gith that keeps on giving. God dang it!
Oh dear.
Props. That right there was the gift that keeps on giving.
That
was.
really was.
That's good.
Let's see. Zach Sparn? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Aren't the creches specifically not in the astral sea so the children can grow? Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly, yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just have these eggs glooping around.
Yep.
Let's see. I do not know how to say your name. Bayushi Akira? Yeah, we'll do that one. If I remember correctly, the names translate to followers of Gith and Gith deserters.
Ooh. Good fact.
It is definitely followers of Gith. The Gith deserter thing that I did not see.
That's kind of cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, especially if you like turn your back on like a life of like constant warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cassius 335 comes back and says, question, is spell jamming automatic at 3rd level or lower?
I mean, spell jamming is automatic when the right beat drops.
Yes. Okay. Slitherus says, so are you going to make a code out of the episode title? I have a suggestion, then spells out never gonna get you up in it. Remember, I said in the podcast episode, you got one. It was Alabaster Booty Clap, and you spelled it out, and it worked really well. You got one, chat. You got one time I took a code from y'all. I see you there.
Shout out to our dead homie, Alabaster Booty Clap.
Desi died, screaming drunkenly.
All true.
You know,
True.
I always save all the sound files and everything, and so I have a folder that is just all the code reads that I do for the podcast version. And now when I go in there and save it, just up at the top, Alabaster Booty Clap, and I just chuckle to myself. It's great. Let's see. War in space, they can't smell you scream. Wait, that's not right. What? Oh, because of
the no noses.
I got you. I followed you there. Let's see where we got.
Brush your teeth so no one smells you scream.
Cassius335's got another good one. Hang on. If Githyanki are that against mind flayers, what happens if they run across a group of people piloting a mind flayer ship?
I mean, I don't know what kind of people you would refer to are out like bopping around space in a mind flayer ship. But the answer, spoiler alert, it's us in Heroes of the Plains. But follow-up answer, nothing good.
Mm-hmm.
It very much has occurred to me that when the Nautiloid shows up anywhere we go, everyone is going to be like, ah! We just
plane on the front. No, it's okay.
So far, we've only gone places that had very different sets of problems already. So it worked out. Mm-hmm.
They just have to have that. I need Todd to perfectly do that.
Yeah. The Nautiloid is just like turning into the X-Wing to Storm Herald's Millennium Falcon. Just every once in a while, we got to go do another thing. Yeah, that's all. In our little like tentacly boy ship.
Reaver01 says, if your leaders are supposed to be immortal and you have had 157 of them, I think you should rethink calling them immortal.
Hey, they don't die from old age. Doesn't mean they don't die. You know, Learn that from the elves in The Lord of the Rings.
Dark Cyril has a really good one. Githyanki Silver Sword is 100% the kind of sword a JRPG protagonist would wield.
100%.
It's true.
100, especially the way it's all like angular and improbable. Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be the bad guy.
Though now I'm also realizing it does
that
share
is secretly a sad good guy.
It does share some qualities with Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archives books with the shard blades. I think they're shard blades. Yeah, it's another one where you slice through someone and it just kills their soul. Let's see. Cassius 335. If they can only communicate through blades, have they tried using 2 daggers as a kind of flag system? What?
Oh, like
No, I got
the undead knights, like
the
semaphores.
knights. I forgot.
You have to do it violently, though, angrily. So
No,
I
that's
stab
easy.
here, and that's an E, and I stab like here and here, and that's a T. But if I turn it down, it's an S.
See, like now, I'm like, do you feel better or worse? Because you already were an immortal warrior that probably wasn't too chatty, but now you're like an even less chatty immortal warrior. But I'm like, you're like, at least just like drop me off on a mind flayer colony, though. Yeah, right. Like, send me over there.
That's a great idea. You like encounter these things, don't ignore them. Like hustle them onto one of your ships and then drop them like bombs on the mind flayers.
Exactly. Instead of just like
we'll be back in a week.
Instead of like a rage-filled, nearly headless Nick, you know? Like, again, think back to the 4% of non-Gith that just see, like, rage ghosts on occasion and are like, are we not going to talk about that? Like, what? Yeah.
I do like the idea that Erin's doing with like they're stabbing in certain places to mean something, and like someone's just like, why didn't you just do sign language? They just go,
We did.
no, it's just like, but blades.
See, now also with that 4%, I'm thinking about a like half-orc tryhard that is just intent on proving that they can hang with the Gith, and they just can't. But they're like the mascot. They're the
It's that one friend. It's that one that everyone's just like, oh, he's freaking here.
And he finds one of those rage ghosts, and then he just kind of like stands close and be like, "Look, guys, look what I did! I totally tore that up."
That's it. That's
He can't
the
talk,
whole thing.
so
He goes and finds a rage ghost of like another orc barbarian. He's like, guys, I killed him. That was easier because of me.
I figured it was like a Cyrano kind of thing, but with murder.
Yep.
Like, yes, I am doing the murdering. It's not my friend who has a
Cyrano de Murderac. Yeah.
I love that. Master
Look, we've given you all so many gems for your
so
own
many plot
narratives
hooks.
today.
Come on,
There
you got to
go.
take one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Master Burglar says this is about the chariot with the dragons. Does the chariot have wheels or a sled? It's an important question.
Oh man,
I'm pretty sure it had wheels, actually, because it makes less sense with wheels. I'm pretty sure it had wheels.
Nothing. There's nothing. I guess theoretically you're gonna land this ship at some point, and so it needs some sort of landing gear.
Yeah.
But just anything seems like, why bother? It's an aesthetic choice.
It's an aesthetic choice.
You know, again, questionable choices were made with all of the Spelljammer vessels.
I feel like the goal list on this is like goal 1, aesthetics.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of like the idea that
logic.
that when they land, they just use psionic power to keep it floating off the ground, and
that
they're like,
seems more accurate.
and someone's like, "Are you really spending concentration on keeping your sled floating?" And they're like, "Do you see how cool I look?"
Yeah. Like, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, yes.
100%. 100%.
Don't you wish you could?
Dude, I'm going through all of these Spelljammer vehicles looking
They're
for that one in
wild.
particular, and it's just none of this made sense. Like, I mean, they sat down and drew these things with a straight face. They were like, "This seems legit," and I'm like, "It doesn't though," but okay.
All right, guys, it's a spaceship, but also a Jack in the Box. Wait, stop.
Yeah. It's a swan. It's just a swan. We're like, are we in the swan, or are we on the back of the swan?
Did you go through a tunnel of love for the first time this weekend? Like, did you just find out about these?
Again, what else are the Jedi not telling us? Yeah.
Reaver 01. I feel called out. Champions of lore. They don't take a subject and branch off like a tree. It's more like a tangled bush of myriad ideas.
You know what I say to that? You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah. Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right. Right answer.
Chili draws. What if you permanently polymorphed a Gith into a mind flayer?
Oh, existential crisis.
That's how you develop Gith seppuku, you know? Like, there's got to be some, like, I've brought dishonor on everyone. Yeah.
Gotta find a range ghost.
Yep.
Gotta find a range.
Maybe that's where they
ghost.
come from. You know, the dishonorably dead. Yeah.
Jason Alt says, killing your first mind flayer isn't that hard, B-Dave. If you think differently, it may be someone having altered your thoughts. That basically saying, like, if you think differently, it's the mind flayer just messing with your head.
Oh, right. You're like that. They're actually really easy to beat. We just think they're not. Yeah, right. Yeah, makes sense.
I think Chili Draws is answering the one about the Gith finding a group of people in a mind flayer ship, which is right. We come in peace on the side of the ship.
It's true, but let's be honest.
That'd be like a
isn't
bigger
that
middle
what
finger.
they do. You know, like that's the problem. This is anytime. Okay, the dragon.
Exactly what a knife flare.
The dragon drawn longship. It's a Viking longship, so it doesn't have wheels. It's a like literally that, but it goes into space, pulled by dragons because reasons. Yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah, that's one of those things that it's like when like you can't convince a person to trust you because again, the more insistent they become, the more suspect that is. It's just one of those things that you're like, you could like paint it happy colors. We could bedazzle it, you know?
There you go.
Yeah. Otherwise, we kind of get what we get when we show up.
Master Burglar says the heroes of the plains should put a sticker on the back of their ship that's the little stick figures of all of them, like a little stick figure family.
It's true. But one you know, deceptively large one, you know, next to Penelope. Yeah, of course.
100%.
Right in the middle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true. Baby on board.
Baby on board. Garor with the last one says, is there a Spelljammer ship that is just an 80s van but with a regular humans and regular horses on the side?
It's like they're not stylized at all. It's just people on horses. Yeah.
People are like, that's wild, man.
Probably.
God, now I just want to do like a Spaceballs like style campaign in Spelljammer. They got an RV with like decals on the side. Well, I think that is a good place for us to stop this week. Covered a lot of good ground with the Githyanki and their metalness. Erin, B-Dave, where can people find you and what awesome things are you working on?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans, and you can catch me on Wednesdays on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers, where I play Cecilia, who is definitely not a warlock.
100%. Not a warlock.
B-Dave Walter, as I say words about things, you can find me everywhere doing all sorts of stuff all of the time. Just follow me on the Tweetagrams. I don't expect you to keep up with it at B-Dave Walters. Thursdays, 4 Pacific. D&D, Twitch, and YouTubeages, Black Dice Society. The first 3 episodes are up now. You can watch the VODs and get caught up.
Yeah, they're good stuff.
Also, we have the hunkiest podcast producer in the world. It's Treavor.
I was gonna be like, whoever could it be? You can find me on the Difficulty Class podcast every Friday, as well as Champions of Psychology. Tomorrow's episode, I really hope you come and check it out. We are doing an AMA with Dr. B about autism and about him finding out that he had it in his adulthood and everything like that. So please stop by and check that out. Week after that, Mitra and I will be talking about ADHD. You can also soon, when we figure out when, listen to all 3 of us on writing about dragons and shit, talking about writing and dragons and some shit. And you can follow me on Twitter at the Treavor. There is an A hiding in there. Thank you, Jay, for moderating in the chat as always. Sorry for rickrolling you this early. Thank you to Codename Entertainment for letting us talk about some D&D. If you missed any part of the show, you can listen to it later as a podcast at 2 p.m. on your favorite podcast services. And if you have any suggestions for future topics you'd like us to talk about, you can send those into championsoflore at codenameentertainment.com. And everything is normal this week on the stream. We're back. We just have normal schedule. But Adam Bradford will be on Bardic Inspiration tomorrow doing a song about Briv. So go check that out. I hope it better be metal. Like, it needs to be very metal.
Curveball is going to be country.
Actually, real quick aside, my wife has discovered that she subconsciously just hates Taylor Swift's music. And one of the ways we found this out is we were driving around listening to the Bardic Inspiration CD, and when it got to the Dragon Queen one, she's like, I just really hate this one. I'm like, what? I love it. She's like, I don't know what it is. I just hate it. I'm like, is it because it's in the style of Taylor Swift? She goes, oh my God, my hatred runs that deep.
Tadoff Swidler, man. Yeah, fight back. Fight back.
But yeah, be sure to catch all of your favorite streams this week, and hang out and see what happens, and maybe things get announced. I don't know things are happening. I don't know.
Go fight some mind flayers and Idle Champions.
100% do that. But until next week, champions out.